Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today gonna be discussing the video about Canelo versus Plant, and it is on. Fight has been officially announced for Saturday, November 6th on FOX PPV. I guess what happened was Canelo was getting close to signing on to fight Dimitri Bivol, and decided to come back to the table and when he scrapped his September 18th date, and decided to come back to the table with Caleb Plant for the to determine the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world at 168 pounds. So this is a huge fight right here. I'm glad that it's back on. Canelo's gonna make a career high payday. Looks like about 40 million. And, you know, Caleb Plant's going to make a shitload of money, too, for this opportunity. And this is what it is, guys. It's no different than your Dennis Ugas and Manny Pacquiao. You get a shot at the biggest guy in boxing. If you perform well, people are always going to remember you. But if you win, if you can pull off that win, you make your career. Or your Dennis Ugas just made his career. He is going to be able to fight fighters and get good-sized fights the rest of his career because of beating Manny Pacquiao. So Caleb Plant, he could be just a footnote. He could be the guy that Canelo dominated, or he could be, you know, the next. He could be only the 7th ever undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era, and he could really make history. So we're gonna see what happens on Saturday, November 6th, as they compete for the undisputed title. Now, on the Is On videos, I just like to tell you what these guys have been doing coming in and where they stand. We'll start with the favorite, Canelo Alvarez. Well, Canelo has had a busy year so far. Canelo, I mean, actually, if you go back all the way to December of last year, he dominated Callum Smith to grab to unify the WBA and the WBC super middleweight titles. So then he officially made it clear that he was moving up to super middleweight and dropped his middleweight titles. And in February, he made a WBC mandatory title defense.
Use the right 3 lanes to take the I-880 South ramp to San Jose.
Against, when he took on Avni Yildirim. People criticize this, but he had to take this fight. This was a mandatory fight. He dominated Avni Yildirim with ease, picked them apart, and after only 3 rounds, Yildirim retired in his corner, and Canelo retained the unified title.
To take the I-880 South ramp.
After that, in May, he attempted to unify belts against the undefeated Billy Joe Saunders of the United Kingdom.
I-880 South for 2 miles.
And it was a good fight, you know. Saunders being a southpaw gave Canelo some trouble. He did, you know, and everything. But Canelo was still winning the fight. And heading into the 8th round, Canelo had started to get closer and closer to Billy Joe and, land his crisp, clean, short shots. And in the 8th round, he landed a wicked uppercut.
2 miles. Take exit 88 for Great Mall Parkway toward Tasman Drive.
Which broke the orbital bone of Billy Joe Saunders, and Canelo would win when Saunders retired in his corner, no longer able to continue, and Canelo unified 3 of the 4 belts. So a lot rolling into this fight for Canelo. He's 3-0 in a matter of 5 months. You know, you include the 3 months since, and it's only been 8 months, and he's fought 3 times already. This is going to be his 4th fight in a matter of about 10.5 months, taking on Caleb Plant, and Canelo is just full-on work mode. Canelo wants this. It's a dream of his to become the first ever Mexican undisputed world champion, and he's the pound-for-pound king right now, and he is the clear favorite coming in. His style, you know, going against Caleb Plant can talk all the trash he wants. What makes Canelo great is when Canelo gets mad, he doesn't just throw caution to the wind. He actually turns that extra knob of his greatness, and he puts it all into his boxing ability and his desire to win. And he comes out, you know, and does what he has to do to win the fight. And that's what I believe he's going to do in this one as well. I think he's going to come out and really, show why he wants it really bad. It's the fight that he's been wanting, and he needs to go after it. Now, Caleb Plant, the underdog, the undefeated IBF champion, he's been the champion since January of 2019 when he upset Jose Uzcategui. He was a mandatory #1 contender.
Exit 8A.
People felt like he had the ability to pull off the upset, but at the time, you know, what's his name was really rolling. Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. Uzcategui was really rolling. He was considered to be a dangerous slugger, and he was effectively neutralized for 8 rounds. Plant knocked him down a couple times. He came back in the championship rounds and really, put it on Plant, but he couldn't pull it off, and Plant effectively became the IBF champion with a unanimous decision victory, no doubt, and moved forward. Since then, he's made 3 successful defenses. He defeated Mike Lee in July of 2019 and undefeated, but
onto East Tasman Drive.
Little known, not too highly regarded. He was just kind of more of a territorial fighter. He dominated him in a 3rd round TKO. Then in February of 2020, he took on Vincent Feigenboots in a mandatory title defense, dominated him, 10th round TKO, and then took the rest of 2020 off due to COVID and all those things. He almost got the fight with Canelo in December, but then in January, he made a mandatory defense against former champion Caleb Truax and veteran. And, I thought he was going to stop Truax, and, he effectively beat him by a clean unanimous decision. It just wasn't the performance that I was expecting when you're in the Canelo sweepstakes. Maybe he played it safe, who's to say, or maybe Truax is just that tough of a fighter, but I felt at this point in his career, he should be able to effectively dominate Truax without a problem, which he won clean on points, so let's not take that credit away, but he didn't do it as impressively as I think most people thought he was going to do it. So, he got the win though, and he's pushing forward, and now he gets the showdown with Canelo. So, Caleb Plant, at least his talk is that he has a similar style to Floyd Mayweather, which I don't believe he does. I think Plant's a talented fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's really going to have to dig deep and figure out something about Canelo that he can expose and he can beat. He says he has something. He says he can do it. We're going to see. He has the opportunity. That's the point. Like I said at the beginning of the video, opportunity. You get your opportunity. You get your moment. Lose yourself, as Eminem put it. And Caleb Plant's going to get his shot to make history on November 6th. Because it's not just beating Canelo. It's becoming the undisputed champion of a weight class again. Only 6 ahead of him have done it. Bernard Hopkins was the first. Jermaine Taylor won the title from Hopkins. Years later, Terrence Crawford became the 3rd guy to do it, knocking out Julius Ndongo. Then we saw Alexander Usyk at cruiserweight a few years ago in 2018 do it. In that World Boxing Super Series tournament, he became the 4th man to accomplish that goal. Then you had, I believe it was Teofimo Lopez just last year became the 5th man to unify all 4 belts when he upset Vasily Lomachenko. And then the 6th man to do it was just a few months ago, Josh Taylor, when he defeated Jose Ramirez to become the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. This will be only the 7th man to ever do it, and it'll be the first time in the 168-pound super middleweight division. So this is big, big, big right here. Make sure you're paying attention and you tune in for this fight Saturday, November 6th. It's going to be good, guys. I can't even express to you how good this fight, how many people are going to be looking towards this fight and for this fight. Again, Canelo's making his career high payday, and Caleb Plant is as well. And like I said, this is Caleb Plant's chance here. And not many guys get this kind of chance against the pound-for-pound king. There's a handful of guys that will get an opportunity like this. Caleb Plant's here, and he needs to try to cash in on it. And Canelo wants to continue to build his aura as the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. And he has, and tell you the truth, Canelo's on a mission to become one of the greatest fighters of all time. And his resume, it can speak to that. And he's in his prime right now, and we're going to see who the better man is. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, Canelo versus Caleb Plant for the Undisputed Super Middleweight Championship at 168 pounds. Canelo versus Plant is on, everybody. Check it out. All right, I'll be doing my breakdown video about a month before the fight. Hope you guys, and we'll continue to discuss the news and different things like that. Stay tuned to my podcast. Episode 4 is going to be coming in a few weeks. All right, guys, I appreciate all the support. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.